Another baseball game and yet another chance to get back in the win column. Two teams, both on a slide, both looking to snap that here at historic Damascus Field this evening. Welcome back to Outlaws Pregame. As always, here on YouTube, my name's Colby Smith, alongside you for the ride. Glens Falls Dragons coming in. They are now 3-8 after a tough start to the summer. This is their 12th game, of course, away game number 8, and they have been road warriors to this point, have gone 3-4 away from East Field, and have yet to win at their home ballpark. And their next home game will actually be against these Outlaws, as these two squads starting off a little 2-3 series against each other. Glens Falls going to have a game sandwiched in between tomorrow at Saugerties, but that's besides the point. Let's talk about it. The Dragons coming off a loss 2 nights ago against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs. Brandon Hawk had an RBI single deep to the warning track in East Field, left center in the first inning, scored a run with 1 out, scored hold until the 7th inning. John Calabrese, he's a very speedy base runner for the Diamond Dogs and always willing to do whatever it takes to help his team to a victory. Snuck in a score and got a little bit of wiggle room, good jump on the Dragons pitcher who was on the hill on the time, and just cruised down the baseline, stole home, and so Diamond Dogs would go on to take that thing 2-0. And so Glens Falls now on a 3-game slide. They lost against the Amsterdam Mohawks on Friday by a 7-6 final. Second straight one-run loss at the hand of the 3-time defending champion. So certainly JFD has what it takes to hang with Amsterdam, and the Mohawks kind of seeing some own struggles there. So now 10-3 after a red-hot 9-0 start. They tied franchise record best start from 3 years ago. And since then, it's just won 1 of 4. So there's that. But the Nets lost to Boonville on Saturday. That was a 6-5 final before on Sunday falling to that Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs team that's kind of been up and down. They've had struggles that have come and lingered, and seems like that's been the storyline for just about every team so far. Everybody's had some struggles, just a matter of how you deal with them. And the Outlaws, well, they're going to be looking to turn their struggles around tonight. Oneonta now 1-7, falling out. Very forgettable loss to the Utica Blue Sox last night. Second straight mercy run rule loss for this lost team. So really got to start to turn things around quick. And you hope that can come against a team that had some success against in the early part of the schedule in 2024. I mean, 3 straight victories against this Dragons team to open the season. Glens Falls took the last 3 as these two tied 3-3 in their season series a year ago. And tonight will be the first of 7 here in 2025. 3 will be here at Damascus Field, but Glens Falls will not be back here again until Monday, July 21st. So it'll be a long time before they make the trek back down 88. They're also here for the final game of the regular season for both teams on July 29th. In between, Outlaws going to go to Glens Falls 4 times, starting with that trip on Thursday. But now, before we go too far along on the pregame show, we are going to go to our player interview from this afternoon with the recent commit to Westchester University, Hugo Cohnhorst. Let's get to it. Colby Smith, and I'm joined here today by Outlaws infielder Hugo Cohnhorst. Hugo, tough start to the season for this group. What are you all trying to do off the field to stay positive and into it?
Just stick to a routine every day and try and come to the field every day ready to play, fresh.
Well, and for you specifically, as somebody who's played in this league before, how tough is it to deal with struggles here in summer ball?
It's tough. It's a long season, and if you don't kind of keep a clean slate, adds up pretty quick. So I think that's kind of the key.
Well, and going to that specifically, 2 seasons in Boonville before you came here to Oneonta. Just compare and contrast for me your experience of playing up there as opposed to being here.
Pretty similar, honestly. Besides maybe size of the town, Boonville was pretty small. A little bit more to do here in Oneonta, so that's been nice.
Well, and what specifically did you enjoy about your time with the Lumberjacks and take away from it all?
Had a good host family. The guys I played with those 2 years were really good. I made a lot of good friendships that I still have today. I think that's the biggest thing. Met a lot of guys.
Well, and what was it like having that park up there as your home field and kind of being up there isolated away from so much?
Yeah, just not a lot to do. That would be tough, especially like once the summer got kind of into the dog days. But just kind of only baseball, I guess, up there.
Well, and now that you've come here to Oneonta and you mentioned more to do, what kind of things have you been doing around town and enjoyed so far?
Fishing, just hanging out with the guys. I feel like compared to Boonville, everyone's a lot closer together, so that's been nice. And then just lots to do on Main Street and all that.
Well, and how do you feel like this group's team chemistry has grown as these couple of weeks have gone on?
A lot, definitely. I feel like with summer ball, that always happens. Once you get past like the first week, everyone kind of knows each other. Um, more like kind of like they've known each other for a lot longer than a week, but it's been good.
And are there any specific tips or tricks that you've picked up from other guys on this team to this point?
I mean, little things, but nothing really specific I can think of. But it's been good playing with a lot of good, talented players in that aspect.
Well, and how do you feel like for you personally that playing with guys of similar caliber, or even stronger calibers, helps you grow as a player?
It's been great. Just being around guys that work hard every day and bring it definitely kind of raises your standard. Makes you rise to that level, I'd say.
And now let's talk about rising to that level. Your new commitment to Westchester. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Tell me about how that whole process went down.
Started talking to them maybe a week or two before we went down to Florida this year with Hurt, and they came down to see me play. And I played well in front of them. I really just wanted to kind of be committed at the beginning of the season, not have to deal with that as I played and as the school season continued on. And then after we got back in Florida, I went down there for a visit, loved it, and knew that that's where I wanted to go for the next 2 years.
Well, how did it help you mentally to play through the spring, getting that commitment in and done so early?
It was huge. I've seen a lot of other JUCO guys, teammates. They have, they're talking to different schools mid-season. They have one bad game, and it's a lot of pressure to not only be trying to win, but have to worry about moving on. So I didn't want to deal with that. And, I love Westchester, and being able to get that good of an opportunity early was huge for me.
What specifically stuck out to you about Westchester that you liked?
I love the coaches. It's a really good baseball program. They have a history of winning, and the culture of the team seemed really appealing to me.
Well, and besides the baseball stuff, of course, academically, what are you studying? What are you hoping to do post college?
I'm planning on studying history. What did you say after that? Sorry.
What are you planning to do post college?
Oh, I want to coach collegiately. Either that or teach and coach high school baseball, but most likely coach collegiately. Yeah.
What specifically has led you to the point of wanting to coach later on?
I love baseball and I want to be around it. And that would be pretty cool if I was able to do that as my job.
And to this point, just talk me through your baseball journey a little bit. How did you fall in love with the game, and how did you get to where you are today?
I started playing when I was a kid. Really enjoyed it. Practicing, all that, getting better. And then, fell in love with it. Knew I wanted to play college baseball. It ended up being the JUCO route that I had to take. But I've really enjoyed it, and I'm happy that I found a spot after it.
Well, and I do got to ask, with touching on JUCO one more time, your experience at Herkimer, how special was that for you?
It was great. We got to win a bunch. We had a great group of guys, really talented team, and had a great season this year. So I was really happy to be able to be a part of that this year. It was pretty special.
And how awesome and amazing is it to have that winning pedigree and culture around you?
It was huge. Just that expectation, being held to that standard, I really enjoyed, and I felt like really pushed me.
Well, and Hugo, now let's talk a little bit about what this team has moving forward. You got Glens Falls coming in tonight. You're there Thursday. A couple big games on tap at home here this weekend. What's got to give for this team to start turning the corner?
Just kind of playing good baseball, doing the little things right, and situational hitting, 2-out hitting. I feel like that'd be huge. We've lost a lot of close games, and if if we're able to just push a couple more runs across in a few of those games, we win them. So I think that's, we're close, and it's just that.
Hugo, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
So that's going to do it for our player interview of the day. As always, big thank you to Hugo Conhorst and all of our Outlaws who take the opportunity to stop by. It's really cool to hear about his baseball journey to this point, how he's kind of gotten to where he's at right now. I mean, you heard it. He bounced Mineral Area College, went to Herkimer for a year, and now committing to Westchester. Loved the campus down there, loved the program, loved the culture, and so he's headed to a good spot, and we actually got to give the congratulations to Thomas Woodridge. Just found out before the game, transferred out of Wofford. He's going to Monroe Community College next year, so congratulations on that. We'll get a commitment graphic up here after the game tonight or early tomorrow morning. Always love to see our Outlaws moving on to bigger and better things and opportunities that they're feeling about, and Woodridge is certainly pumped to move on to his next stage of things. So we'll leave it at that, but we already talked about it. Outlaws, big loss last night against Utica. Again, the final was 15-2, and I mean, Hugo hinted at it, but also talked about it with assistant coach Josiah Asker quite a bit. But one thing that's really got to turn around for this team is the fielding, and they are very confident in the lineup they're rolling out tonight. Once again, batting 10, and sure that doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of defensive things, but hopefully get things rolling on the defensive side. Hits will come on the offensive side of the ball as well, so hopefully that'll be a big thing for this team. But the 2 runs that we had last night, Ian Wirtz stealing second, and it led Thomas Woodridge, who we just talked about, to steal home. Also had Zach Porter with an RBI single in the 5th inning with Jet Clark scoring. So Outlaws their 2 runs last night. That's how they got them. And man, this team is going to need to start to string together more runs than just 2 to get a baseball game done. And as I said, that was one thing that we talked about with assistant coach Josiah Aska. So as we wrap out the Outlaw introductions, get ready for National Anthem here at Damascus. Let's go to our coaches interview of the day with assistant coach Josiah Aska.
Colby Smith here today once again with assistant coach Josiah Aska. Coach, a couple of rough ones here in these last few. What's got to turn the corner for this team quick?
I think it goes back to something I told my high schoolers this year. Just bring energy, force energy, create some type of energy. That's something that we got to bring. We got to start early, and I always tell Keaton, joke around, we got to win the pregame. But I think something as a group that we have to do a lot better is encourage each other and have some type of voice flowing throughout the field at all times.
Well, and how do you feel like that leadership piece or leadership voice has kind of been missing from this team so far?
It's just a lot of quietness, even from the guys that we had last year, just not communicating to each other in certain plays. It's not quite sure exactly what it is, but we're going to figure it out tonight. We're going to have somebody step up some way, shape, or form. There just has to be a leader outside of the coaching staff because we can only do so much. I think it's definitely past due, and we're going to bring it tonight.
Well, and specifically, I mean, what kind of positives have you really been seeing?
Pitching. Our pitching has been better than we could expect or even ask for. Pitchers are going up there shoving strikes, throwing strikes, not giving up free bases, allowing our infield and outfield to work and make plays behind them, not trying to force strikeouts. We're not pitching around guys in any way, shape, or form. So I love the confidence that's being exuded from every pitcher.
Is there any pitcher specifically that's really impressed you here in the last couple of games?
There's been a couple. Thor, returner, came back with a little bit more velo, a little more oomph. Did exactly what we expected him to do, even more. Goebel again comes in, controls the run game. Very good thing from him. Asa coming, throwing 1 or 2 innings for us at the end of last year, coming back and just absolutely shoving. A lot of guys. I don't think there's anybody from our pitchers who hasn't, stepped up to the plate and done at least what we expect them to do.
Specifically on the offensive side of the ball, what's got to turn around?
Last night was a little bit better when it comes in terms of swinging at first pitch fastballs. It's just got to get entirely way better from top to bottom. We just can't allow pitchers to get ahead of us with 2 straight fastballs, and then we're trying to restart that bat at 0-2 consistently. Get me over curveballs with runners in scoring position have to be hit in some way, shape, or form. Just put them in play. We just got to be able to pass the barrel to each other, pass the bat, keep things going. Yeah.
Well, and for you and Coach Keaton, I know you don't particularly enjoy batting 10 in a lineup. What kind of went in making the turn to bat 10 here these last couple?
Well, the first time we did it this year, it worked pretty well in terms of getting runners on and moving those runners over and getting them to score. So we were just like, we got to change something. We got to figure something out. So we're trying to get as many guys in a lineup as we can to see who can do what and keep moving with that.
Coach, one last question here before I let you go. Glens Falls comes here for the first time tonight. Dragons team that's red hot. And just taking a look at what they bring to the table, what are you expecting from today?
Just another good game. Another game where there's going to be pressure put on us, and we got to apply it back.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Sure.
Well, that'll do it for our Outlaws pregame show here this evening. Big thank you to assistant coach Josiah Aska for taking the time to swing by. I mean, there's only so many ways you can talk about a struggling baseball team, and try to do what we could to give this team the best end of things and show off what's been working and what really has to turn a corner moving forward. Heard from Hugo Conors earlier on in the pregame show if you missed it, but we're getting ready for first pitch here, a couple minutes late from historic Tomasky Field tonight. A beautiful national anthem performed by Valley View Elementary's band. And now the Outlaws taking the field in their orange tops. Got the black numbers, black letters. They go for the white pants. And Glens Falls going to be in the black tops here on the road with the red letters, red numbers, and they have the gray pants with gray outline on here this evening. Again, it is the Dragons' first trip here to Oneonta in 2025. And on the mound, they're going to see Outlaw starter from Garnerville, New York, Mr. Logan Schul. From Marist, he went 2 innings in his first Outlaw start on Thursday. Down at Saugerty, surrendered 1 run. It was charges earned, walking 3 as the Stallions played some small ball in that second inning to plate the run. And now we'll wipe that away and get ready to get things rolling here this evening. Tyree Jackson will come to the plate first for the slumping Glens Falls Dragons, who are on a 3-game slide of their own. Lights coming on early here at Tomasky Field just before first pitch. That one dealt, and Jackson smacks it up the line. And on the one hop, Woodridge fielding it, but it was a foul ball, so we'll go after it again. Woodridge is at third. Jace Kohler's at short. Got Zach Robinson at second. Jameson Bollock at first for the Oneonta infield this evening. Schul with the 0-1. And that one, good frame job by Zach Porter is behind the plate, but can't sell the call, so the count quickly to 1-1. Left to right in the outfield, it's Mr. Jack Clark. Kazuhara is in center field, and Dane Richards draws back into the lineup in right. Veteran take by Jackson as that one creeps in tight to his knees, and the count runs to 2-1. Jackson is making his Glens Falls Dragons debut tonight. Outfielder studying criminal justice at Hudson Valley. He's a redshirt freshman this year as he swings right through a fastball, and the count goes to 2-2. Jackson, known by plenty of these Oneonta Outlaws, has got 6 guys who spent some time recently at Hudson Valley. 7, actually, because Connor Wading transferring after 2 years to go to Canisius. Here's the 2-2. That one will sail in high. And Jackson working along AB to start the ball game. But Jackson this spring at Hudson Valley, 378 was his average, 23 games played as Vikings had a strong rotation in the outfield. Payoff pitch from Schul. Called strike 3 as he's going to ring him up looking on another high heater.
Walking to the plate, number 20, Aiden Gallagher.
So Tyree Jackson will get frozen by 1 down. And we'll go to Aiden Gallagher here in the 2 spot in the lineup. Gallagher, one of just 2 players who remains in this Glens Falls lineup tonight from their loss against the Diamond Dogs on Sunday. Coach Dio's really been using a rotation, kind of like we saw from the Outlaws in 2024. A lot of position players on the roster, and so it's a matter of trying to get everybody reps, trying to find a lineup that works and consistently do damage. Gallagher quickly down, 0-1 in the count. Now Schul winds. That one will drift in high. Count rolls, ball and a strike. He hit in the 3 spot in Coach Dio's lineup on Sunday, went 0 for 0 with 3 walks. Glens Falls batting 10 yet again tonight as Gallagher right through the fastball and the count to 1-2. They've batted 10 every single game they've played so far this summer. Outlaws opting to bat 10 for 3rd consecutive game after batting 9 for each of the first few. 1-2 with 1 away. That one once again missing high. And Schulz finds himself in a 2-2 count. Schul, a righty who struggled in his time at Marist this spring. Hard throwing, trying to turn a corner here this summer. Get things back together. 2-2 with a massive leg kick and a big swing. Is Gallagher going to be retired? Schul's got back-to-back strikeouts to start this one. Now it'll be Janio Savoca. Savoca, 5'9", 170. He's from Albany. Lefty swinger, one of 3 in this Glens Falls lineup for Coach Dio tonight. Didn't appear in any games as a freshman at the College of Charleston. As he takes a high strike and doesn't love the call, and he'll trail 0-1 quickly. Major in exercise science at the College of Charleston. He was ranked as the number 24 overall player and number 4 shortstop in New York in the class of 2024. As that one, a low strike, and Savoca doesn't know what to do about a strike zone that looking like it's going to be a big one tonight. You hope, though, when the Outlaws get to the plate, the strike zone stays that big. Is the 0-2. Once again, going to sail high. Count to 1-2. Savoca, 3-year letterman at the Albany Academy. This is his first summer collegiate ball, and spending it at East Field as he thwacks one off up over the seats, 3rd base line beyond the Outlaw dugout. And so he's 4 pitches deep, and now we'll try it again. Savoca does have Enrique Diaz, the 3rd baseman, waiting on deck behind him here for the Dragons. Hey, Schul, here's another go at the 1-2. Just low, as Zach Porter thought he had it. Kind of creep that glove up there a little bit. He's an excellent pitch framer behind the plate. One area where he really excels for this Oneonta team. Catchers have been real sound for this group as the 2-2. Gonna brush Savoca back. So after finding himself 1-2 advantage in the driver's seat, Schul's working behind 3-2. Trying to strike out the side here in this opening inning. Schul, first base side, deals. And that one, elevator shot on the infield. Woodridge over foul territory. Porter goes over as well, and they run out of room as it pops over the screen. So we'll try it again as we're now 7 pitches in. Zach Porter's kicking around a little bit of dust behind home plate. Had it covered. Got some rain last night after Utica game. I mean, we got some rain in game as well, but luckily able to get through it. Scholl the payoff in the dirt ball 4. And top of the first will keep going. Jania Savoca going to be on base courtesy of the free pass. And Coach Aska said it in our pregame interview today, but that's one thing that this group is going to have to change moving forward. Not giving up too many free bases and just hoping have pitchers keep pounding the strike zone. This one, first pitch hack in. Woodridge on a 1-up to his left on the run. Ball, it stretches out and gets it done. So the Outlaws get out of a first inning with no runs. Bottom half coming up. Outlaws going to send Brendan Connolly, Dane Richards, Chase Kohler to bat. Back here to Oneonta as we get set for the bottom of the first on Outlaw YouTube. Let's now take a look at the starting 10 that head coach Keaton Mark threw together tonight. Leading things off is the extra hitter, going to be Mr. Brendan Connolly. Dane Richards, who's pitcher to the right, plays right. Jace Kohler's at short. Zach Porter in the cleanup spot as the catcher. Jack Clark going to be in left field. Thomas Woodridge drawn back in the lineup, second consecutive game for the first time. At third, Jameson Bollett's at first. Ian Wirtz is the DH. Zach Robinson, second baseman, hits ninth. And Kazuhara wraps things out in the 10 spot in center field. Connolly comes to the box, and he will face Trent Jenks on the side of Glens Falls, the two-way player. They're immediately going to pinch Mueller up, and Diaz up as well. Corner infield side, first and third. The righty going to pound one down and out, and Brendan Connolly quickly jumps ahead 1-0 in the count. Trent Jenks, 5'11", 200 pounds. He's from Chatham, New Jersey, making his second start for the Glens Falls Dragons on the hill, fifth pitching appearance already, as he again misses his intended target and a count to 2-0. Made 17 appearances at Hofstra in a true freshman season, 18 2/3 innings pitched, finished with a 3-1 record and an ERA of 5.30. Connolly caught that one off the barrel but came underneath it, so foul ball going towards the Outlaw dugout, count to 2-1. He also picked up 2 saves on the hill this spring, 27 hits, 20 runs, 11 of them were earned, 7 walks, 10 Ks. An area where he really struggled was the extra base hits, allowed 3 doubles, 2 triples, 5 lawn balls. Connolly in a 2-1 count as the extra hitter. Third straight game in the leadoff spot for Coach Keaton Mark. Is that one dropping down and out, count to 3-1. Trying to find a spark plug back at the top of the lineup and thought maybe BC would be the man to do it. He was sound when he had that leadoff spot a year ago, and so why not? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Try it all over again. 3-1. And that's low, ball 4, and the Outlaws have a leadoff base runner. So Connolly will get on courtesy of the free pass and now take just about anything except a ground ball from Dane Richards. Richards 6-0, 175, trying to get himself back on track. He was struggling a little bit to start the summer, but finally has turned a corner a little bit here. He was one that Coach Aska kind of praised when we were talking off the record earlier about making those little adjustments, doing the things right that the coaches are asking. And Dane's always here putting in that early work and always trying to find some new tweaks to his swing and approach. And he tries the bunt, caught, trying to double off Connolly at first, a slap tag in time. So some bad base running right there as Mueller slapping the tag on. And just like that, no more base runners. So there's a 1-3. Richards just popped that one up a little bit higher than would have liked to. Thought he could tap it on the ground, but Zach Buncher, a hard thing to do, so gotta give him the benefit of the doubt there. No, Dane's certainly gonna look back at that, and well, 9 times out of 10 he gets that on the ground. So hopefully, if we see another go at a play like that next time, he's able to do it. His Kohler shoots one off foul down the line, drops in right field towards that Glens Falls bullpen. Jace Kohler, 3 spots, 6-0, 190 here for the Outlaws. And he has been one of the best hitters on this team to this point. Oneonta is chilling at a 198 team average, though, entering the night. And Kohler quickly down 0-2 in the count. Got to change things here quick and kind of get things back going. It's from the first base side, 0-2. Shot straight back up, hits the foul pole behind the plate, and the count rolls 0-2 yet again on Jace Kohler. Chase Kohler leading this team, batting average to this point. Is Jenks ready to go. And that sails low, ball one. Kohler's average is a .429 in his 5 games, 6 for 14, 4 RBIs. Also has had 6 walks, 4 Ks, 1 stolen bag, and he's regularly been sitting around 3, 4, 5 in his lineup. Count rolls 2-2. Got to get Jace Kohler on our pregame show here one of these days. One of those spark plug energy guys that this team needs to start being more of a voice, as you heard Coach Aska talk about that. Some of these guys really need to start stepping up because this team knows they got leaders. It's just a matter of who's going to step up and do the job. Jace Kohler would certainly be a guy who could fit that bill very well. Payoff pitch after Jenks was down 1-2. Swung right through. Kohler goes pulling for that off-speed, down and away. That ends the half inning. Brendan Connolly gets on base to start, courtesy of the walk, but gets doubled off on a 1-3. So it'll be no runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. Into the second we go. Logan Scholl come back to the hill. See 5, 6, 7 in his Glens Falls lineup. Top 2 back here to Historic Damascus Field, Outlaw YouTube. My name's Colby Smith, and it will be the top hitter for the Glens Falls Dragons to this point. Start off the half inning against Logan Schul. He went fastball hunting, and he'll be down 0-1 in the count. Joe Haynes, his average, .462 in his 5 games, 6 for 13 overall. One of his hits a double, has an RBI, scored once, and has been hit by 1 pitch. 3 strikeouts as well, and he does have a 1,000 fielding percentage behind the plate. Dragons have really been good in that department. Second best Eastern Division, even though they have the 10th best team hitting numbers overall. So got to take your positives where you can get them. Good fielding, good hitting. Well, hopefully sooner or later these teams should have one struggle area over the rest and piece them all together and play a full, complete game. Haynes a 0-2 count, and that one sails head high and going to duck him down a bit. So the count to 1-2. Joe Haynes stands 5'8", 170. Plays at Catholic University of America down in Washington, D.C., so he's a teammate of 2024 Outlaw Jack Bateman, who was playing at Holy Cross before transferring to Catholic midsummer last year. Count 2-2, and he's studying architecture, wants to build some buildings after graduating. Pending, of course, he can't go pro. Many of the players here in the PGCBL aspirations playing pro ball after they're done with their collegiate days. 2-2. That pops off the glove. Porter rolls away. And, well, Logan Schul looking for a put down. Got ahead 1-2 yet again. And with some pitches to work with, he's just had a hard time locating. So the count's full. Savoca got stranded in the first inning already for the Dragons, courtesy of a walk. And Outman will claim the pole back behind the plate. So 7 pitches in. Joe Haynes, still a 3-2 count. This spring at Catholic U, 296 average, 14 games. He started 5, 3 of them behind the plate as he takes a high 1-4. And that's the second walk that Logan Schul has tossed up.
16, Cameron Biller.
Cameron Biller will come to the plate next here for these Dragons. Do got to give a big thank you to Glens Falls. It was very classy of them to give up their off day and come here to Oneonta for this rescheduled contest. Originally, tonight's game was on Friday, June 6th, but couldn't play that night due to some rain and got rained out the next night as well against Boonville. That one got rescheduled into July. It was actually Boonville, I think, its second trip of the summer here to Damascus, because when they first come here, we're already in the midst of a 9-day stretch with a doubleheader on tap against Utica, and you can't play 2 doubleheaders in the course of a week. That one going to drop a bit low. Logan Schul's in a 1-1 count, so owner Ben Bernard, if you're watching here for Glens Falls, thank you once again for giving up the off day tonight and coming down here to play this one. 1-1's the count on Biller. Short lead off first for Joe Haynes. Looks like he wants to run. Not a speedy fella. Only swiped 2 bats this spring. Catholic U's very running team, so only seeing 2 bats. I mean, maybe he had some opportunities that didn't go his way, but still. But Cameron Biller in the box, 6'4", 190. He's from Stafford, Virginia. He did not play at all this spring, but he was an electrifying player in high school at Colonial Forge. 56 career hits. 26 of them were for extra bases in 3 years. And also on the hill, posted a .230 ERA and was first team All-State in the state of Virginia his senior year and second team his junior year. That one will sail in high. And Biller now in a 2-2 count. And you can't take anything away from high school ball in Virginia. Some of the top collegiate prospects down south, Division I, Division II, over the course of the last couple of years have come from the state of VA. Biller now in a 3-2 count. Because Virginia's one of those states that kind of right on the cusp of playing ball. I mean, not quite all year like you would in a state like Florida. Or, I mean, you play quite a bit in Georgia, but play a lot in Virginia as well as the payoff. Big swing and a miss. And Logan Schul has a strikeout. He's got 3 on the ball game. And it'll be Jackson Mueller to come up next. Mueller's playing first tonight for Coach Ryan Dio. Mueller's also gotten himself off to a very solid start for the Dragons here in 2025. From Stillwater, New York, so not too far from home, and playing his college ball up in Albany at UAlbany. He's a graduate of Stillwater High School, 3-sport athlete in high school, baseball, basketball, and football. Is his 0-1 going to sail in high? Pretty good wide receiver, but baseball was his love, what he wanted to pursue, and so here he is.
Nope, I'll come get you, Max.
Sports running his blood, too, as he's got a dad, Jonathan, who played both baseball and basketball at Eckerd College down on the west coast of Florida, facing the Gulf. Eckerd, their basketball team had a pretty solid season. They're in the Sunshine State Conference. Division II, one of the better D2 conferences. Baseball team struggled. Got to see them firsthand playing my Palm Beach Atlantic Sailfish this spring over in West Palm. And the Tritons hopefully going to start to turn a corner next year. Have great recruiting classes. This one going to curve foul. Got up the chalk line about 3/4 of the way towards third. Woodridge charged it, but we'll have to go for it again. They did have Joe Haynes on the run as soon as that one came off the bat, so hit and run probably going to be in effect here for Glens Falls. With 2 strikes and 1 out, you want to, if something stays on the infield, take away that double play if you can. Rocking that Albany purple batting helmet is Jetson Mueller. Again, he's the 7-hole hitter. Glens Falls is batting 10 once more. And there's another swing and a miss. Logan Schul moved that K counter to 4. And the Outlaws, Logan Marquez on the end of the dugout, trying to give this team some much-needed hype and life. Oneonta is going to start to get somebody loose in the bullpen and left, and it looks like it's Zach Rowe. Zach Rowe has had some stellar outings for this team on the bump so far. He's made things look pretty good against the Saugerty Stallions in their loaded lineup. Had an appearance, it was the Outlaws' second game of the season actually down there in Saugerties, where through 2 innings, saw 1 over the minimum, and then kind of unraveled in his 3rd inning. But when he comes in, I knew he was expected to be second man out tonight behind Schul. We'll talk about his season to this point. Porter loses a mask on the throw, skips away from Robinson, rolls into center field. Good backup there by Uhara, but the damage is done. Joe Haynes swipes the bag. He'll be at second. So Cody Meyer, a 2-0 count. Right fielder for the Dragons only has Tate Van Alstyne, the extra hitter. Michael Sweeney, the shortstop, still to bat behind him in this lineup. Looking back to second, dancing lead, Joe Haynes. And this one blasted in the air out to right center. Uhara, Richard, both got a talk out there. Uhara waves him off, and the inning is over. Uhara runs one down in the gap. Stranded at second is Joe Haynes. And Glens Falls, no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on. They've left 2 on through 2. Outlaws come to bat, bottom 2 in an 0-0 game. Hey, Zed Porter, welcome to the second inning. He'll lead things off for Oneonta. It's going to be 4-5-6 to bat against Trent Jenks. We never really finished talking about Jenks and his season to this point. In that first inning, went by pretty quick. 0-1 is his record overall entering the night. 476 earned run average, 4 appearances, 1 start. Has only gone 5 2/3 for the Dragons to this point. The longest appearance has been just 2 1/3. 5 runs, 3 earned, 6 hits, 4 walks, 4 Ks is the 0-1. Bounding ball left side. Sweeney is the speedy Porter trying to get down the line, and that one deposited into the glove of Mueller. And so there's a 6-3 put away. Zach Porter's retired, and we'll go to Jack Clark here in this Oneonta order. First, though, let's take a look around the horn defensively for Glens Falls. Behind the plate is Joe Haynes. First to third on the infield, it is Mueller. Savoca's at second. Sweeney's at short. Diaz at third, and they got Gallagher, Jackson, Meyer, left to right in their outfield. Jack Clark will hunch way over up in the box, and he's going to take a low called strike one. Jack Clark trying to get himself back on track. Was real good starting things off this summer. 6 hits, 18 at-bats now in total. 3 RBIs, one of which came as the only homer of 2025 so far for the Laws up at Shuttleworth Park in Amsterdam a week ago tomorrow. Clark trailing in the count, 0-2. Jansen, his last outing, it was at Mohawk Valley. It was on June the 8th on the hill. 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, and he struck out 3. Is the 0-2. Bit low, but Clark gets rung up looking as he doesn't pull the bat around. Jenks is now retired. Well, I guess you could say 5 in a row, considering after the walk and the turn double play ball to first. 5 straight have been sent down, and it will be Thomas Woodridge, the new Monroe Community College product. Woodridge redshirting his freshman year at Wofford, so going to go have clean eligibility at Monroe as this one, first pitch hacking out in the left center, charging over Jackson, and the gap makes the grab. And that ends the half inning. So a quick 1-2-3. Trent James certainly working efficiently here for Glens Falls. We're zipping by in this game already. We hit the third. Still 0-0 is your score. Top 3 back here, historic Tomaski Field. Outlaws already going to make a pitching switch on the hill. Mr. Zach Rowe will take over after just 2 innings by Marist starter Logan Schul. That'll be dropped in there for a called strike 1 to Tate Van Alstyne. So Schul not even making it through the order a full one time, only sees 8 Glens Falls Dragons cross 2 innings, walks a couple, and allows no hits, no runs, no earned runs, and ends up finishing off the night with 4 strikeouts, a couple of hard-hit flyouts, and take that all day long. Just hopefully can build up Schul to a little bit longer start and get some more depth in his arm moving forward. Some of these Red Fox's arms come here, strict limits for how many innings and pitches they could throw. Is Rowe going to get his first strikeout of the day looking on Tate Van Alstyne? 3 pitches is all he needs to finish the job as well. This is the 3rd appearance of the summer for Zach Rowe on the hill. First at home as he's thrown at Saugerties and at Mohawk Valley. Showing bunt. Michael Sweeney not going to get it down. And he did pull it back in time, so the count's 1-0. Rowe overall, 7 2/3 innings between the 2 appearances, 5 hits, 6 runs, all were earned, 5 watts, 10 Ks, as he's really been around the zone in each of his appearances, locating his best stuff, and he does have some gas in his arm, tops out high 8s, and SUNY Oneonta, he was in a prime position end of the season, moved himself into the rotation, so next year he'll go back there hopefully even bigger, better, and stronger after spending his summer right here in Oneonta as well with the Laws, with just some new and improved confidence, knowing that he can continue to do a job, even seeing better, higher-up competition. There's a called strike. Is Sweeney taking one that drifted in high. Last appearance for Rowe was at Amsterdam last Wednesday, 4 2/3, 2 hits, 2 runs. Both were earned, struck out 7, and he had the start in that ball game and really threw a solid appearance. How can you take anything away from just 2 runs in 4 2/3 against the best team in the PGCBL by a long shot? Nobody else has more than 6 wins, except the Mohawks. Is Rowe going to get back-to-back Ks? Little freezer down at knee height. Sweeney thought it was ball 4, but instead he takes the walk back to the dugout and back to the top of the Glens Falls lineup we go. It's going to be Tyree Jackson. Jackson was getting a lowdown from Coach Dio before the ball game about what this team's signs are, how to kind of fit into this offense, set the table at the top. Jackson was regularly getting on base for the Hudson Valley Vikings, so to come here to Glens Falls, hopefully going to continue to aid his skill set. That's all summer baseball is, and Rowe, that one got away from him. He plunged Tyree Jackson, and he'll head for first. It's like an off-speeder from Rowe that just kind of got away out of the hand, and he knew it too, shakes it off. And I think Martin Thorsland kind of said it best the other day when we were talking about pitchers' outings here. It's a matter of when you make that mistake, got to shake it off, step back into that groove, and just know that you got a group of 7 behind you, can feel the ball, and just got to trust your best stuff. Kind of sounds cliche, but it's something that this group needs to hear and really take to heart in this moment. Outlaws continuing to struggle, trying to get back in the win column for first time since June 4th. 1-0, and Porter going to spring up, keeping a close eye. Tyree Jackson, speedy down there at first. Jackson did swipe 14 bags after swiping 15 last year. Is this one on the ground? Woodridge ranging left, pumps it low, but in time to Bollock at first. So that ends the half inning. Zach Rowe throws stellar frame, just hitting Tyree Jackson. Dragons leave another on the base pass. They've stranded 3, and we hit the bottom of the 3rd. Goose eggs on the board between Glens Falls and your Outlaws. Is up from first as he's on the edge of the grass. 2-0. And Porter hammered out into left field, diving to the ground, lost the hat for. Tagging from third comes Connolly. Outlaws tie this thing up as it's a sac fly from Zach Porter.
Ford with the effort play out left field meets the
Bottom three here in Oneonta, Outlaws and Dragons. First to 7 here in 2024, and a lot different than any game we saw between these two squads back in 2024. Were high-scoring affairs right from the get-go. Tied 3-3 in the season series. Dragons took the last 3 after the Outlaws took the first 3. Year before, Outlaws winning out the season series 3-2 it was, and Keaton March's first year at the helm. 0-1 to Bollock. Going to be low as it hits the plate, and the count going to 1-1. Behind him here in this half inning for the Outlaws is going to be Ian Wirtz, designated hitter. Zach Robinson playing second, and if they need a fourth guy, it'll be Kaz Uhara, center field. Quickly the count 2-0 on Bollock. Glens Falls bullpen is totally quiet right now. So it's Trent Jenks inning to lose, been short starter. And we only saw Logan Schul on the other side for Oneonta if you're just dropping in. Go 2 innings, 2 walks, and struck out 4 was his final line this evening. Zach Rowe now coming in, and he's going to be tasked with going long out of the pen. This one pounded on the ground towards Savoca, ranges left and pumped it into the glove of Mueller. So 4-3, Bollock will be retired, and down to Ian Wirtz, the Lehigh product we go. Ian Wirtz was really eager to get here to Oneonta this summer. He is still seeking his first single as an Outlaw. I was going to say his first hit, but that actually came last night. He put together a double in that, I think it was 4th inning, if I'm thinking back correctly, as he swings on the first pitch and pounds it into center. Took a couple of bad skips, and Tyree Johnson fields on the hops. 1 out single, Ian Wirtz, and down to Zach Robinson we go, looking for some offense. Robinson from Gardner Webb. This is his first home game of the summer for the Outlaws. Has played in 3 on the road, and his average chilling at a 200 to this point. 2 for 10, has a run, one of his hits being a double and an RBI, and he's had his parents to a couple of games already this summer down in Saugerties, but haven't made the trip up to Damaski Field yet. So the Robinsons are watching in tonight. We hope that eventually you can make your way up here, check out the home field for Zach and the Outlaws. Count to 0-1. Robinson again. Kaz Uhara is waiting on deck behind him, and then it'll be top of the Outlaw lineup. They check the runner at first as Wirtz will be back in standing up. That single by Wirtz was the first hit of the ball game as well. And Glens Falls is set up in double play depth on the infield, looking for a ground ball, get things done with here. Robinson in a 1-1 count. Outlaws 4 games at home this week, massive week, and just 1 road trip, and that is to Eastfield on Thursday against the Dragons after the off day tomorrow. This one going to creep in there for a called strike. Count goes 1-2. Dragons tomorrow turn around. They go to Saugerties, 7:05 at Canton, and be keeping a close eye on that one. Dan Shalom, Nick Zuppi on the call for the Stallions. Been fun getting to know those guys from Syracuse this summer and always talking shop with them. And they do a real good job with their scouting reports and notes and been trying to share back and forth and give everybody the best stuff to work with here. Home plate umpire gets drilled by one off Robinson's end of the bat, and so he's walking around and looking over to Keaton Mark. Just got to do those little things right. We actually had a concussed umpire down in Saugerties, one of our games, I think it was last week. Got hit on a foul tip with a bat and ended up finishing the game. Happened in the 7th inning. Yeah, it was our Thursday game. Ended 5-4 because we played 9 in that one at Saugerties. Happened in the 7th inning. He finished the game behind the plate and then turned around, found out later he had a concussion, was out of commission for at least over a week. Robinson's in a 1-2 count, one down. Ian Wirtz is at first for the Outlaws, bottom 3, still looking for our first run of the night. Trent James going to deal. Swung on and missed as Robinson about tumbling over on that right foot. So 2 are retired. And it'll be Kaz Uhara now to bat for Oneonta. Uhara seeing his first trip to the plate here this evening. He's trying to get back on track, as it seems like many of these guys are. Everybody for Oneonta hoping to start to get things back on track, climb those batting averages up. Pitchers starting to see those ERAs drop a little bit. James winds, and that one going to miss outside the zone, count to 1-1. Uhara's average is at a 250. 16 at-bats on the season. He scored 4 runs, has 5 bags. 1-1. And that one clips the outer part of the zone, 1-2. He has already struck out 7 times this summer. 3 of those came at Mohawk Valley last Thursday. Actually, that was 2 Thursdays ago now. It seems like every day's running together here this summer. 1-2. That one going to bounce away low, 2-2. Seems like just yesterday we had that heartbreaking 8-7 loss to the Diamond Dogs and then ended up not playing baseball for 6 straight days before we went to Amsterdam last Wednesday night. Counts 2-2, 2 are away. Still Ian Wirtz at first after his single with 1 away. Uhara takes one downstairs, so the count is full. Diaz is going to drift up a little bit from third. All the outfielders pinching in here for the Dragons with 2 outs. James steps and deals. Calls strike 3. And Kaz Uhara going to be sent down to end this half inning. Outlaws leave their first runner on base this evening, getting their first hit. Into the 4th we go here at historic Damaski Field. 0-0 on the board. Back to Oneonta, top 4, and it will be Savoca, Diaz, and Haynes to bat for Coach Ryan Dio and this Dragons group. He's going to try to get the bat started against Zach Rowe. Gotten a couple of base runners. 2 walks came off Logan Schul, and Zach Rowe hit Tyree Jackson in that 3rd inning in his first inning out of the pen. But Dragons have left all 3 base runners on as they haven't been able to find a hit. Team average is 234. Vibing at 10th in the PGCBL right now as Rowe again misses down and away and the count to 2-0. Scored 45 runs over the course of their 11 games as well, so just over a 4 runs per game pace. Zach Rowe, 2-0, and having a hard time locating his count running 3-0. Savoca was one of those wasps that Logan Schul fired up in the 1st inning. He's trying to get on base for the 2nd time. He's got a big stature in the box. And Rowe comes backdoor with a strike call. So it runs to 3-1. Savoca playing for the first time since that 1-run loss at Boonville. And he sees an air-mailed pitch. So he is indeed on for the 2nd time tonight. Dragons a leadoff base runner for the 2nd time tonight as they had Joe Haynes walk to lead off the 2nd inning. Can't read my own handwriting sometimes, it's a problem. So now it'll be Enrique Diaz, grounded out 5-3 in the 1st inning. And there's a called strike as Rowe going back to the high heater. Diaz, it was first pitch swing in, and Woodridge showing off the glove over there. A couple of balls that have come his way so far as Rowe gets a swing and a miss. So Diaz is trailing 0-2. Got Kohler shifted over, covering right side of that second base bag. Diaz is ripping the all-red batting helmet here this evening for Glens Falls. Didn't play it all this spring. Dyersburg Community College. Kohler underhands it to second. The turn from Routson back over to Balick. And there it is. 6-4-3 double play. Love to see the infield turning one for the first time in 3 games. As Joe Haynes going to settle in. Said it, this was going to be the group to do it. This was going to be the group to get the Outlaws back on track. And now it's just a matter of putting some runs on the board because the defense is doing a job so far. Pitching's doing a job as Rowe's going to walk off the hill out and left. This gets caught by Jack Clark. And after the leadoff free pass, double play gets flipped. First pitch fly out from Joe Haynes. Into the bottom of the 4th we go here in Oneonta. Outlaws in Glens Falls in an 0-0 game. Always an eventful time when we get a tennis ball toss going here at Tomaski Field. And tonight, I think we had some of the closest balls that have come to landing in that bucket so far here in 2025. Though this is only home game number 4 for the Outlaws. We had 2 a couple weeks ago. We're supposed to have 4, but rain does its thing here in New York, and so that kind of got wiped out the question, but we'll make those games up later on. You saw our rescheduled games graphic already. We got a couple doubleheaders coming up at historic Tomaski Field, middle part of July, and July is always pretty home heavy for the Outlaws because they'll be on the road here quite a bit following this week of getting 4 at home. Corner infielder's going to pinch in as Brendan Connolly takes one low, ball 1 as we're back top of the lineup, as I said. Connolly did walk in the first inning, was forced out 1-3. Some bad base running, just doubled off it. James turned it on over to Mueller at first, with Connolly taking a massive lead on the attempted bunt by Dane Richards, who's waiting on deck. We're hoping to hear from Dane Richards pregame today, but got to catch him later on this week. Tomorrow, the plan is to get Zach Porter to hear from him, so we're not in action tomorrow. Everything's running together. But Thursday, we'll get Zach Porter, and then hopefully Friday, Saturday, get Dan Richards and maybe another pitcher in there somewhere. This one will go up the line. Foul ground, 2-2. Again, Diaz will pinch up a little bit from third. As Jenks will deal. Big swing and a miss. And Brendan Connolly's retired for the first out here in the 4th. Jenks is now officially in his longest outing of 2025. So we'll go to Dane Richards, who lined one right back to Jenks. His first time up, it was half bunt, just got it in the air, wasn't able to pop it on the ground. And he takes very low, strike 1. And so the count's at 0-1. Now this one, right side, Savoca in the air. To the glove of Mueller it goes, and there's a 4-3 out. So 2 quick outs as James continuing to work very efficiently on the bump for Glens Falls. Still nobody's throwing in their bullpen in right field, so who knows, maybe we'll get a quality start here out of James tonight. Needs to throw at least 5 to qualify for that. Jace Kohler, he struck out swinging in the first inning. Very uncharacteristic of him, and now hoping to turn the corner and get back at it and hopefully get another hit, because Ian Wirtz has the only hit so far of the night for Oneonta. Big shake around out there from James as that one sails in high to the hands. 2-0. Very close knit, back and forth ball game to this point. Tooth and nail on both ends, and it's got to wonder what's got to give for somebody to get things going here as we move in middle and back part of it. Play top 5, then already be halfway through as we're zipping through this one. First pitch was 7:06 tonight, so hasn't even been an hour to go 4 innings. And Kohler now a strike. Probably be right around an hour as we're chilling 8:04 right now and looking at the time. Try not to let the time get to us too much. Just enjoy a great night here at Tomaski Field. Best we can. 3-1. And Kohler went swinging for it. So the count goes full. I think no matter what happens tonight, everybody's looking forward to an off day tomorrow for getting into a very busy stretch starting Thursday. Outlaws will play 9 consecutive days after the off day tomorrow, pending no rainouts. Is this one right side going to drop just foul? And so Kohler almost located a hit, and if he had been able to bloop that one in over Mueller, he's fast, probably could have laid out two, but you'll just never know. So count is full with 2 outs. James taking a sweet time, and now finally fires. Kohler on the ground, right side, bat shallow, right, it rolls out of the glove of Savoca into right. That'll be an E4. So it won't count for a hit, but at least you get a base runner out of the ordeal. Can't complain about that. So keeps the half inning going, and now Mr. Zach Porter will come up between the stick. Zach Porter grounded out 6-3 in the second inning, and now we get an attempted pickoff, but back in the first, Jace Kohler standing up. All these tongue-tie things kind of get to you after a while. Been a long day and prep for another ball game here at Tabasco Field. And once more, 2 more home games coming up later this week. Going to be free nights as well. 4 free nights this week. Special times at historic Tabasco Field. Friday's Star Wars night. And it's sponsored by NBT Bank. We're going to have Senator Peter Oberacker here throwing out a ceremonial first pitch. And Porter shooting one straight bat foul. And Saturday will be Millen Crockett Pharmaceuticals night. Catskill Mountain Little League will be here as well, and it'll be Hawaiian night. So Saturday will be quite the time. Another attempted pickoff, and Kohler back in, standing up at first. Trent James trying to end the half inning, and he does. Zach Porter right through one, takes the swinging strikeout. Jace Kohler will be left at first as there will be no runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left on for Oneonta. And top 5 we go here at historic Tabasco Field as we're flying through this East Division battle. 0-0 is your score. Top 5, Zach Rowe. Another inning of work here for head coach Keaton Mark out of the bullpen. Cameron Biller will start things off at the dish as it will be 6-7-8 to bat for the visiting Glens Falls Dragons. First pitch swinging right on the ground. Woodridge feels clean, bound forward to Bollock in time. 5-3. Woodridge has a cannon over there at third, and he had lots of time as Biller didn't break out of the box quick. So nice to see the defense still shining bright tonight. And Jackson Mueller now will come up trying to turn things around. Hitless in each of his last 4 at-bats, including a strikeout in the second inning, which was swinging. Strikeouts were his biggest problem this spring. UAlbany as well in his limited action as a freshman. Coach DL, very young roster. That's one thing this Glens Falls Oneonta team certainly have in common. Oneonta, when you look at your veteran pieces being Martin Thorsland, Pat Dangler, who've been here for this now being their third consecutive summer, you know that you don't have too many guys like you had last summer when you had like a Jaden Ross from University of South Florida. I know they tune in. The Rosses down in Florida catch the game sometimes. So Jaden and the fam, if you're watching tonight, hope you're doing well. But Jacoby Dale, another big one from Wayne State, heading into his grad year. He was here last summer and was integral piece of this team from day one. And that's one thing that I mentioned early on in the broadcast tonight, and Coach Joe talked about a little bit as well. Just got to find those leadership voices and got to find them quick. It's a long summer of baseball, and after tonight, we still got 39 games to go. Jackson Mueller at first, one away, top 5 here for Glens Falls, and that one going to come on in close to Cody Meyer for ball 1. Meyer did fly out to center field in the second inning. Ended the frame on a 2-0, and that was the last batter that Logan Schul saw in starting this game off. Schul pulling a little Shohei Ohtani action. Shohei returning to the mound last night for the Dodgers for the first time in 2 years. Through 1 inning, 28 pitches, did top out 100.2, so nice to see Ohtani back on the hill and getting some starts here for the Dodgers moving forward. Count 2-1 here, Cody Meyer. Dragons still looking for the first hit. Rose looking for a ground ball. 2-1. Got a breakaway high. Counts to 3 balls, 1 strike. Behind Cody Meyer will be Tate Van Alstyne for the Glens Falls Dragons. Outlaws do have some action in their bullpen in left field. Doesn't look like anything too serious yet, but Colin Carver is up, stretching out a little bit. That one, backdoor in the zone to Cody Meyer, strike 2. So the count at 3-2. Carver's in the transfer portal right now. Got to hear from him on the pregame show the other day. Looking for a new home after a couple years at Marist. Wants a new opportunity. Payoff. Fouled right back into the glove of Zach Porter, and that'll be another K. So Zach Rowe has gotten 3 strikeouts, and now needs just 1 more out to conclude 3 innings out of the bullpen this evening. Tate Van Alstyne, extra hitter, in the box here for Glens Falls now. Van Alstyne going to check his swing on the first one, and they're going to say he went. Don't know how you even have to look to the field umpire on that one. But 0-1. Dancing lead off first, Jackson Mueller. That one going to be just above the shoelaces. Counts to a ball and a strike. 1 more out to put us halfway home through this game. Very entertaining one here on a Tuesday night. In a rescheduled game, diving, Bollock on a ground flip, so Rowe, and he beats Tate Van Alstyne to the bag. An absolute battle of a foot race, and Zach Rowe going to get the W on it. Halfway home in this game, Dragons strand another one on base as they have left 4 on through 5. Bottom 5 coming up, and it will be Jack Clark, Thomas Woodridge, Jameis Bollock coming to the plate. Bottom 5, Jack Clark going to start things off for Oneonta. Jack Clark struck out looking in the second inning, and he'll turn the page and flip the door and, well, hopefully find some way to get on base. Outlaws still struggling, getting dudes on. Just 2 on through the first 4 innings against Trent James. Do have an arm starting to get loose in the bullpen. So James Leash will probably be short. Maybe hoping he can finish off 5. And as we said before in the last half inning, give Glens Falls a quality start. Haven't found too many of those over the course of their last couple of years. Kind of been a struggle for this Dragons team to pick up victories. Only had 8 last year in total. Glens Falls 2024, their final record 8-30-1, and they finished 25 games back of Amsterdam. Only teams in front of them who did not make the playoffs were Boonville and now defunct Albany Baseball Club. In this division, as it was, how many did we have in the division last year? We had 9 this side of the league last year. So it was top 6 made playoffs in the East Division. This year, with only 7, just 4 teams will make the postseason. James on the run, the throw, bounces away. Mueller into right field, charging it. Cody Meyer, but cruising to second, Jack Clark. And the Outlaws
Walking to the plate from
a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
14.
That is big.
Woodbridge.
Going to score it as a hit and an error. So it will be a single and an E1. Glens Falls now errors in back-to-back half innings. And here we go, Thomas Woodridge trying to do a job, get the Outlaws on the board. Woodridge flew out to center field. First pitch he saw, it ended the bottom of the second. And he swings again at the first one. It's high, swatted out of the air by Mueller. He turned, can't get to the ball. Over to third goes Clark. And the Outlaws going to have first and third with nobody out. How about it?
Now up to bat from Hudson Valley Community.
So Woodridge will be credited with an infield single.
College.
And now Obalik will come up. And we are getting a mound visit here for Glens Falls. Doesn't look like their arm who's thrown in the bullpen is ready as of yet. So this is probably one of those try to talk to a guy, buy some time to get your reliever warming up sort of thing. Pitching coach for Dragons is Matt Gonzalez, his second year on the staff under head coach Ryan Dio, who's sporting a nice nifty dark red Dragons hoodie tonight. Always interesting to see in comparison to what gear we have here for the Outlaws, what other teams kind of have in the arsenal. And Glens Falls certainly has some slick stuff. They redid their jerseys, redid their coloring and everything a couple years back. And so some of the stuff they have certainly slick. And now Bollock will come to the plate. He grounded out 4-3 in the third inning. And with runners first and third, now nobody out. This is a crucial spot to get on the board first. So second base is the only bag open. Dragons are in double play depth as this one will skip off the plate. And Bollock ahead in the count, 1-0. Coming up in the top of the sixth, we will swing a look at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard tonight. We flashed our nifty graphic that we've added to our broadcast arsenal. Running the double play. Woodridge standing to second. So takes that away, racing it. And we like erasers. So 2 balls, no strikes. And that one down and outside. Bollock can have Ian Wirtz, Zach Robinson up behind him. Now 2 in scoring position, and that one creeps in for a called strike. Bollick doesn't like it, but had to take sign on with 3-0 if he didn't like it, so he'll keep trying. Each infielder in on the edge of the grass. James is looking to get an out somehow, and Bollick spraying one up the line foul behind Keaton Mark, who's coaching third, is the head man for the Outlaw staff. James knowing this is probably the last batter he sees. Ian Wirtz waiting on deck. Had a single off him in the third. James is shaking off Haynes behind the plate. Big lead off a second for Woodridge. Shallow ball, probably would score 2. James finally coming ready. He's really slowed down his cadence. And Bollick, a towering fly ball out. Deep center field, back to the track, laying out. It's caught. Jatson tagging from third. Jat Clark scores, and the Outlaws get on the board first. It's a set fly RBI. Jameson Bollick, and 1-0 is your score. So again, RBI, sat fly, Jameson Bollick. Thomas Woodridge now going to third. And Ian Wirtz, we'll see if he could start today, 2 for 2. He's hot and an early contender as well for player of the game tonight. Trying to share the love around with that. It was Kazuhara who took it last night. Having himself pretty solid game. Wirtz finding himself 1-1 count. And speaking of Uhara, he's in the hole right now as Robinson's on deck. Still all the infielders in edge of the grass, ball and a strike. And Wirtz getting frozen by a slider, 1-2. It's like Savoca really wants something to hit his way as his night's been pretty quiet so far. That one down and away. And they count 2-2.
No, we're not doing it. Because we did the middle of 5th. We did the home run derby.
So Ian Wirtz, big wide open stance in the box. Is this one big swing and a miss? So a fastball retires Ian Wirtz. And doesn't look like Glens Falls is going to pull the plug on Jenks just yet.
48,
Zach Robinson. He struck out swinging in the third. And now let's go at it again. Hopefully knock in one more, give some insurance. First pitch hacking up the middle, ranging left. Sweeney airmailed the throw, pulling Mueller off the bag. Robinson will get to second. He gets an RBI as Woodridge scores. And the Outlaws, 2-0 going to be your score.
approaching the plate from Wofford University, number 47.
So that was a tough play. And it results in a run. So 2 base E6, Zach Robinson on for Kazuhara on the 10 spot. Danson lead off. And that one going to be a called strike. Uhara trying to keep his hit streak alive, run it to 3 games tonight. It's 0-1. Gonna go low, strike 2. And now Jenks finds himself just 1 pitch away from getting out of this 5th inning, but 2 runs have scored. Dragons have all of a sudden gone sloppy, 3 errors in the field over the course of the last 2 innings. A lot of errors committed to Maskey Field over these last 2 days. Off a second. Again, it's Robinson. And that one missing its spot low. So 1-2. Infielders will go back as Sweeney positioned behind Robinson up the middle right now. Got Savoca back beyond the dirt on the edge of the outfield grass. Robinson's teasing, trying to bait a throw. As the 1-2 going to sail upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dragons and Outlaws, 7 total meetings, 2025. Nets 4 all in a row at Glens Falls Thursday, and then turn around and be right back there Tuesday. So 3 games in the span of a week for these 2 squads, and they'll get really comfortable, really familiar with each other fast. Counts fully on Uhara, 2 down, bottom 5, 2 runs home in half inning. Jack Clark scoring, Thomas Woodridge following behind him. Couple of hits added to the board as well as there's strike 3. Uhara, second straight looking punchy of the ball game. And Outlaws going to play 2 on 2 hits, 2 errors, and they leave 1 on. 6th inning right around the corner, and the Outlaws lead 2-0. Top of the 6th, welcome back to the Maskey Field. Zach Rowe is trying to finish off at least 4, so he'll come back to the bump, and he will see 10-1-2 in the Dragons lineup. Michael Sweeney kicked the charges off. Sweeney struck out looking in the 3rd inning. It was the 2nd out before went back up, and Tyree Jackson was hit by a pitch, and then Gallagher put one on the ground. Woodridge flashing a leather at 3rd, give him a gold glove. Love Thomas Woodridge. He's a great dude, very passionate about the game, and has funny sense of humor. Him and I have certainly shared some jokes on some bus rides early on here in the season. Fouled straight back as that one shot up a mile high. Sweeney and then Tyree Johnson for Aiden Gallagher. As we said, 10-1-2 here for Glens Falls inning 6. Big swing and a miss. And Zach Rowe has got everything working for him tonight. This outing has been great to see so far and very much needed for an Outlaws depleted pitching staff who's had to work a lot, and a lot of arms have been put in usage in different situations over the course of the last several days. As we promised, to look at the PGCB out-of-town scoreboard as Jackson takes one low, ball 1. In a suspended game from a couple weeks ago due to rain at Dunfield and Elmira, they were suspended in the bottom of the 4th. Elmira ended up taking a victory. That doesn't make sense that it even is going in bottom 7. Lumberjacks 11-7 is what it's showing. Jackson swinging through one, and the count's 2-1. Auburn Doubledays lead Batavia Mutt Dogs on the road. Dwyer Stadium top 6, 8-4. Regularly scheduled game tonight, Geneva and Elmira. Red Wings have a 4-1 lead, bottom 6. Geneva still with just one win. Them and the Outlaws hanging out, bottom of the PGCBL right now, and both trying to climb up the ladder here and get back in the win column, snapping their straights. That one will sail high. Count moving full. Newark Pilots, who've been phenomenal to start the season, 6 wins in 8 games and 1 tie sandwiched in there as well. They got a lead on Niagara Falls, who started 6-0 to begin the season and have since faltered a bit, 5-1. Woodridge off a couple of bounces, left low in the dirt, but Bollitt scoops it out as he is money over there on first. 5-3 going to be the out. And now Aiden Gallagher going to represent last hope for Glens Falls here in the 6th. Also, top 7 in Amsterdam. Mohawks have a 4-0 lead on the Blue Sox. And lastly, game 1 of the doubleheader between the game 2 of the doubleheader. Man, I just can't process a thought tonight. Between the Diamond Dogs and the Lumberjacks coming up next. Blasted ball up the middle, rolls into shallow center. O'Hara will scoop it up, but there's the first hit of the night for Glens Falls. Aiden Gallagher able to pop it right through Robinson and Kohler. And got to shake that off. Savoca will now swing the stick with 2 down and 1 on.
At the plate, number 2, Gino Savoca.
Savoca, if he can find a way to get on, going to have Enrique Diaz up behind him. And he did pull the bat off the shoulder. Pitch was in the zone regardless, so it's an 0-1. Rowe glancing over first. Gallagher dancing lead, trying to bait a throw as this one will bounce off the plate. And once again, the count to 1-1. After this half inning, we will flash our Eastern Division PGCBL standings on the screen. That, well, at least the standings graphic looks pretty. 1-1. That one will sail high. Porter throw down, and Kohler thought he had it. He's trying to cell job it, but Savoca allows Gallagher to swipe a bag. Gallagher's now got 3 on the summer for Glens Falls. Dragons haven't been running a lot on the base paths early, but when they get the opportunity and a jump like that, they'll go. Savoca 2-1. Rowe now trying to close things off here and misses his spot 3-1. Outlaws, still nobody's throwing down there in left field. And that'll miss low yet again. So Savoca going to be on. Glens Falls, first and second with 2 outs, and now Zach Porter will walk out, have a conversation with Zach Rowe. Probably a good time to do it. First time that Rowe's allowed back-to-back base runners in this ball game tonight. So walking off the mound, and check it out, our YouTube live comments. Got to give a shout out Marco Moises if he's still on here. Maybe just popped on quick, but Marco, if you're still with us, hope you're doing well. He was a big locker room guy for us last summer from the University of New Orleans, and always enjoyed my interactions with Marco. Very funny dude, great human being off the ball field. So great dude, and Outlaws certainly be nice to get more personality like that. We need a team cat that can do a job like Marco and Colton had for us last summer. Colton Harris had been playing for Katie and the Cane Cutters down south this summer. Just chatting with him the other day. Got to watch one of the Cane Cutters games on our day off about a week and a half ago now. This one skyrocketed out in the left center field, drifting bat Chad. Clark reaches up and has it. And that ends things out. Enrique Diaz, an absolute missile of a ball to left field. Glens Falls is going to leave 2 more on the base paths, and they have now stranded 6 through 6 innings. Bottom 6 coming up next. Outlaws, 2-0 your score. Bottom 6, new arm on the hill for the Glens Falls Dragons, and it will be none other than Jake O'Connor, who makes his 5th appearance of the summer. Hudson Valley product on Hudson Valley product as Brendan Connolly has wrapped up his 2nd year with the Vites. And Jake O'Connor is waving Connolly out as he wants to have a conversation with Haynes about how to approach the speedy, aggressive, very sound outlaw extra hitter at the top of the lineup. With a guy who's played on his team and has seen his best at-bats over the last couple of years, you got to think O'Connor going to have to trust what he's got, try to do a job here. O'Connor stands at 5'11", 205. Redshirt sophomore from Newtonville, New York, graduate of CBA Albany, and he also spent some time at Herkimer and Hobart. So remember that. Little bounce around college action for Jake O'Connor. His final stat line this spring for Hudson Valley, 1-1 in 11 appearances, had a 4.66 ERA. All of his appearances out of the bullpen, 19 1/3 innings. Is Connolly going to take one downstairs outside? They call it a strike somehow. 16 hits, 11 runs, 10 were earned. He walked 12, struck out 29. Also tossed up 3 wild pitches and hit 1 batter. Connor got some big innings down the stretch for the Vites. Is Connolly, half swing on that, shot it off foul. So we'll keep going. O'Connor, and looking at his summer stat line, 0-1 record, 3.18 ERA, 2 runs, both earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and has hit 3 batters. His command's kind of been a struggle for him. Up and away, and Connolly stays alive. Count runs 1-2. Behind Connolly, it is Dane Richards and Jace Kohler. Outlaws do got somebody now throwing pretty good down in the bullpen and left. So Zach Rowe's day might be done after 4 innings of work. Up the line, Connolly continuing to defend the plate very well, as he's now fouled off 3 of the last 4 he's seen. Diaz will come up a little bit from third, corner infield. Got Sweeney again, drifted over left side of the infield, back of the dirt. And this one pelted out left field, gets caught as Gallagher ranging over to get that one out of the lights. So will be Dane Richards.
Walking to the plate, Home Community College, number 1, Dane Richards.
Dane Richards 0 for 2. Lined out to Jenks to start this ball game. And in case you were curious, final line on Trent Jenks tonight, 5 innings, 2 runs, 1 was earned, 3 hits, walked 1, and struck out 8. Is he put together, at least numbers-wise, best start by a Glens Falls Dragon pitcher starting off the season. So got to think he'll be in contention for some more big games later down the road. Down and away, count goes 1-1, and you wouldn't think you'd call this one a big game, but it's games like this where you come on the road, see a struggling team, pitch very well, and then get an opportunity to pitch in those games where you're seeing Amsterdam, a Socrates. On the ground, right side, couple of bounces. Savoca to Mueller in time for the out. Dane Richards speedy down the line, but he'll be 0 for 3. That's a 4-3 ground out. So now it's Jace Kohler. Outlaws are going to go to a ballpark on Thursday night in Eastfield that hasn't had professional baseball since 1993. It opened in 1980. And originally they had Glens Falls White Sox, a single-A affiliate of Chicago White Sox, there for 5 years till 85. Then Glens Falls Tigers were there from 86 to 88 before Glens Falls Redbirds were then there in 1993. That was a 1-year affiliation with the St. Louis Cardinals, Double-A level, that ended very rapidly. And ever since then, facility's been semi-pro football and summer collegiate ball in Glens Falls. 0-1 count, Jace Kohler. Reached courtesy of an E4. Back in the 4th, also struck out swinging, ending inning 1. That one will drift in above his cleats. Count 1-1. Dragons still just 1 hit on the board. Outlaws have 3. And Oneonta's been perfect in the field to this point. Glens Falls 3 errors on their side. Another one going to be down. Ball 2. Jake O'Connor trying to work a pretty solid, quick 1-2-3 here. That'll come on high. Called strike 2, 2-2. Luis Rodriguez, who had himself a stellar game on the road from Socrates in Amsterdam last night, ended up finishing with 6 hits and scored 5 runs. Absolutely lit up the Mohawks in the 10-9 extra inning victory for the Stallions last night. Just saw on IG that he has committed to go to St. John's Red Storm, so that'll be big, and big news for Socrates when they get back to the field tomorrow playing Glens Falls. Payoff, and Kohler lined it right to Sweeney. Took a couple stutter steps to his left, comes down with the ball. O'Connor with the 1-2-3 sits. We go to the 7th here in Oneonta, and it is a 2-0 score in favor of your Laws. Top 7, and the Glens Falls Dragons still looking to get something clicking on the offensive side of the ball, and all going to try to start with Joe Haynes, takes ball 1 from Zach Rowe. Zach Rowe, already 4 innings thrown, thought maybe he would be done, but he's just going to keep cruising. Like we said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Out into right field, drifting in. It's caught by Richards. And the Outlaws defense continuing to put on a clinic.
Number 16, Cameron Miller.
Needed that tonight. And it is great to see how this team has rallied back. They needed to put together a good effort of some kind tonight, and, well, they've done just that and then some. Biller in a 0-1 count. Zach Rowe kicking from the right side of the rubber, sails another one, elevator shot style. Counts to the ball and a strike. Woodridge drifted off a bit from third as this one. Laser beam to right, caught by Richards. And somebody was going to call the other off there as Johara and Richards just both kept going for it, and then Richards must have said something because Johara backed off.
Jackson Mueller.
And so back-to-back F9s, and Jackson Mueller now going to try to do a job. A little 2-out piece of hitting. Jackson Mueller, 2024, won New York State Basketball Player of the Year as he puts one foul territory first baseline. He was 7th team All-State 2022 and 15th team All-State in 2023, and then really rallied around and ends up being the best player in New York State. Jackson Mueller actually played club baseball for All-Stars Academy, which is a team that usually scrimmages the Amsterdam Mohawks to start a season. Mueller was with them when they scrimmaged Amsterdam last summer. I don't have a stats from that game because games that are exhibitions from years prior are not kept on point streak with the new turnover. Presto Sports have been doing great with our stats now that everything's started to get ironed out as the summer's going on. PGCBL doing wonders making that switch. 1-1. Another elevator pitch. 2 walls, 1 strike. I said 2 walls and 1 strike. Be weird if we only had 2 walls. Need 4. Rowe out of the stretch. Swung right through on the fastball hunt from Mueller. So Rowe trying to work a 1-2-3. Outlaw staff has not worked a 1-2-3 all game, despite how efficient Logan Schul and Rowe have been. And there it is. Zach Porter going to pick this one up, charges forward, put the throw on the ball, and 1-2-3 it is. K drop third strike 2-3 after a pair of F9s, and we hit the stretch here at Demaski Field. Outlaws, 2-0 lead. Christian Mello will take over the pitching duties on the bump for Glens Falls out of Albany. And we'll pan that camera a little bit over to the left. Seems like it's moving on me tonight. But 6'3", 205 is Christian Mello. Out of Saratoga Springs, New York, O'Connor threw a grand old solid 1-2-3 bottom of the sixth, relieving James, who had a great outing of 5 innings to start this ball game on the road here for Glens Falls. Porter now carrying left center, gets caught as Jatson running over and snarling it in the gap. So Zach Porter's retired, and Chad Clark now going to try to get things going. Chad Clark struck out looking in the second inning. Single, advanced on an E1 before scoring the first Outlaw run of the game. So I'd certainly love to see a little bit more of that going on. Score some more runs, pad to this lead of 2 runs. Outlaws, if they end up finishing this thing with just 2 runs on the board, going to be just shy of a 4 runs per game pace. As 0-1, left side caught, and Sweeney didn't have to move too far for that one. So line shot to short, 2 away, and Thomas Woodridge. Woodridge, as we've mentioned a couple of times already, just committed to Monroe Community College before the game. So breaking news out of the Outlaw dugout before the game with Woodridge committing. And he is 1 for 2 now on the ball game after the fact, has a bag and a run scored. Is Woodridge going to take one, strike 1. So nothing in 1 should count. Looking on the first base side, that one down and away. One again, first base side. And that'll be just above the plate, 2-1. Mello winding one downwards. Counts 3 balls and 1 strike. Mello, this is his 5th pitching appearance of the summer. Already has 2 losses. Is that one out in a left, diving down, caught by Gallagher. That's a play of the game type grab for Glens Falls right there. 7 Outlaws in a row have been retired. And we hit the 8th inning here at Damaski Field, just trying to hold on to this lead. Oneonta 2, Glens Falls 0. Zach Rowe has been lights out for the Outlaws out of the bullpen tonight, and he's going to try to lock in, keep it going for, I don't know, maybe he'll end up going full 6, maybe even a 7, and just could never guess, but he has been phenomenal no matter what anything gets said about this ball game tonight. But not too many negative things to say about this Outlaw team, and every ounce of effort they've put to the table tonight. Been most complete 7-inning effort to this point, and now just have to lock it down for 2 more innings. Meyer is 0 for 2 to this point tonight. Fly out to center, inning number 2, and then struck out swinging in the 5th. Rowe, third base side, 2-0. And that one going to break high, counts 3-0. Rowe fires. And that one's upstairs, ball 4. So now the Outlaws will need a ground ball. Tate Van Alstyne will come to the plate. Gotta wonder if Coach Keaton Mark's going to go to one of the lethal secret weapons down in the bullpen to try to close this one out, get back to the win column. Looks like there's 2 arms who are getting hot down there. I don't think either is the one that was thinking about would probably be the go-to in this situation, so be curious to see what happens next. But Van Alstyne quickly down 0-1 in the count. 0 for 2 in this ball game. So another one going to drop down. Got away from Porter behind the plate. And Porter's talking to Rowe, and yeah, Van Alstyne did go around. I thought they were calling a ball there, but would have been weird considering, you have to bring that bat around certain radius, angle, and I'm not good at math by any means, but ball definitely came more than 90 degrees on a lateral. So Van Alstyne, and Rowe tries to pick off, but Meyer back into first safely. So Woodridge off a little bit on an angle from third. As there's a big swing and a miss, trying to double off the runner first, and somehow Cody Meyer getting back in there around the tag. Was pretty good snap throw from Zach Porter. Can't take anything away from that. That was, man, a great just spring up throw from Zach Porter. Great heads up catcher behind the plate for Oneonta. As the bunt popped down straight up, Zach Porter charges. Rowe gets out of the way, and Bollock able to hull it in. So 2-3 is going to be the out if you're scoring along. Advance Cody Meyer to second. And now Porter comes out to talk to Zach Rowe as it's back to the top of the Glens Falls lineup for the 4th time in this game. Porter will go back behind the dish. Tyree Jensen still looking for his first hit in his Glens Falls debut. On base only once tonight with his HBP in the 3rd inning, which was Zach Rowe's first base runner he allowed in this outing. Zach Rowe has been absolutely locked down. Has allowed just 1 hit, no runs, and has walked only 3. So 3 walks a hit by a pitch, and 1 single is all that have done the job for these Glens Falls Dragons. 0-1. Down and outside. Ball and a strike. Rowe continuing to rock. Is that one going to sail in for a called strike 2? And so now Rowe needs just one more pitch to get out of this 8th inning. Outlaws will come up, try to add to that 2-run total up there. As this one shot up over the screen. And that one gonna get out of here.
Josh, what did you do to this? Do that one right there.
So Rowe working out of the stretch. Deals. This one popped up higher than the Rocky Mountains, right side. Caught by Woodridge, and that ends the half inning. Zach Rowe strands another on the base paths. Outlaws come to the plate, bottom 8, looking to tack on to their 2-0 lead. The Outlaws got a little bit of magic in the hats tonight. Guess we'll find out together. Bottom 8, 2-0's your score. Look to cash on, add a couple more, and make that lead a little bit more comfortable going into the 9th inning where the Dragons have worked some magic already this summer. It will be 7, 8, 9 in the lineup facing New Arm, Chase Falcon at a Catholic University, and that one's sailing in high. So after Jenks went 5 innings to start this game for Glens Falls, each arm used behind has only gone just 1 inning apiece and been very efficient. Ballard shoots one straight back high foul and counts it a ball and a strike. Chase Falcon got to pitch quite a bit as a true freshman out of Sutton, Mass, but then this year got to pitch and hit even just a little bit more. And this one popped up right side, drifting in, caught by Jetson. He was really deep out there in center field towards that black batter's eye, but came up over and makes the play to zigzag. Coach Tony DeLillo looking for new wide receivers for his brand new football team, so guess Tyree Jackson could fit the bill. But Ian Wirtz will now step in. Wirtz is 1 for 2 on the ball game. 0-1's your count. And Falcon, no pitching appearances this year at Catholic. I was mistaken on that. He pitched 8 a year ago, but this year got the ball taken out of his hands, just hitting and slice and dice 208, 12 games, 24 ABs. Had just 1 extra base hit, 3 RBIs, struck out 5 times. Is worked right through 1, counted the ball in 2 strikes. And again, 1 out here in this bottom 8th. And it's looking like if action in left field is any indication, might be a switch coming up. Wirtz swung on and missed. So 2 are down, and it will be Zach Robinson now to bat. Zach Robinson, last hope for Oneonta to add some more offense going into inning 9.
Zach Robinson.
Robinson, big wide open stance in the box. And there's a called strike. Falcons been trying to settle back into a groove. 2 appearances, 4 1/3 innings out of the Glens Falls pen. 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned. 3 walks, 3 Ks before tonight. And now he's trying to work a 1-2-3 here out of the pen. Needs just 1 more strike or 1 more pop-up, fly out, line out, whatever happens to send us to the 9th inning. 0-2. Big swing and a miss. As Robinson can't bomb the fastball the way he wants. We go to the 9th inning. Outlaws holding on to a narrow 2-0 lead.
Outlaws.
Zach Rowe, welcome to the 9th inning. Thought maybe we would see a pitching change for Oneonta, but after Logan Schul goes 2 innings to start the game, Zach Rowe trying to slam the door and go 7 out of the pen to wrap it up. First one going to sail in high, called strike 1, Aiden Gallagher. He's 1 for 3 on the night, struck out swinging in the first, 5-3 ground out in the third, and then singled with stolen bag in the 6th, got left there. Dragons have left 7 on the base pass this evening. That number really going to come back and haunt them when you look back at this one and think about the things you could have done differently, try to execute better and finish the job, because Outlaws, well, they've only left 3 on the base pass. Was it 3? Yeah, 3 on the base pass, because didn't mark those 1, 2, 3s in my book here. A little behind the 8 ball. Try to stay on top of it the best we can. A lot going on, always an eventful good time up here at Press Row, Damaski Field. But 2-1 to count on Gallagher. And now Rowe fires. That one high. Ball 3. Spollet position back off first here. Got Robinson halfway between first and second right side. And that'll miss the spot ball for Keaton March walking out of the dugout. And this might be it for Zach Rowe. He has had the ace of the bullpen, as we mentioned, up and throwing in left field. So we'll see if this is it. Zach Rowe looking at Coach Mark here. And I think he is going to try to give him the chance to close it down. Full infield meeting, and think the whole point of this is just say, trust your stuff, get a ground ball, maybe flip 2 off of it. Try to get through this thing quick as possible, get it done, get back in the win column, and get out of here. So up will come, Savoca. Savoca's been on base all 3 times tonight, all courtesy of the walk as he pulls right through one. Zach Rowe's ahead 0-1. Outlaws, 2 more big games coming up at home later this week. Off day tomorrow is going to be big for this team, especially after the effort they put together tonight, but gotta hope doesn't roll them out of a rhythm. Savoca now trailing 0-2. Short lead off first here for Gallagher. Again, in from third comes Woodridge, just a snag. On the run immediately goes Gallagher. Porter losing the match to Ted, not going to be in time the second. And so no strike 3 call comes as Savoca did indeed hold up. Gallagher swiping a bag as he goes in scoring position. He'll be at second. Nobody out. Roll, check behind it. Big swing and a miss. And Savoca's retired. Outlaw dugout, the most energy in it that we've seen in a few games. And so here's Enrique Diaz, who's 0 for 3. Diaz, 5-3 ground out in the first. Grounded into a 6-4-3 double play in the fourth. And he flew out to left field, which ended the 6th. Rowe going to miss one just above the outer upside of the zone. So 1-0. One of the quicker games we've had here. Tomaski Field. Here recently, Diaz, 2-0 count. Rowe checking around behind him, made sure, and he's good to go. Another one missing a spot. Count runs 3-0. So really need something to give here. Big spot, and there's ball 4. So 2 walks with a strikeout sandwich in between. Keaton March coming out of the dugout. And that is, looks like right there, going to end the night for Zach Rowe. March flips down to the bullpen. Zach Rowe comes out, but man, you got to give him some kind of stellar kudos. Sits in the 3rd inning behind Logan Shule out of the bullpen. He gives up just 1 hit, walks 5. And if this wasn't the kind of pitching appearance that Oneonta needed, then I don't know what is. We'll introduce you to New Arms, trying to close this thing out when we come back. Outlaws, a 2-0 lead. The fate of this one is going to rest on the shoulders of Asa Dugan. Outlaws leading 2-0. He comes out of the bullpen behind Zach Rowe, who goes 6 1/3 and is responsible for the base runners on first and second, both courtesy of the walk, Gallagher and Enrique Diaz. So, first batter that Asa Dugan, the Morris product, is going to see this evening is Joe Haynes. Haynes a walk in the second inning, fly out to left in the fourth, and a fly out to right in the seventh. Dugan going to keep a close eye on both base runners, and both Coach Keaton and Coach Joe said they were going to hope to get Asa into a high leverage situation, see if he can bring it here when the time came. And this is certainly as much of a high leverage situation as you've had over the course of the last couple of games. Haynes in a 1-1 count. Dugan has seen an uptick in his velocity by quite a bit since last summer, and certainly shown with how efficient he's been for this lost team. Dropped in there for a called strike and count to 1-2. He's been very efficient. 4 innings. Saugerties last Thursday, 3 hits, just 1 run, and he struck out 2 and put on a show. 1-2, misses down low. He was trying to offer for a swing, but nothing's there. So 2-2. Dugan out of the stretch here. Winds. This one skyrocketed up right side, drifting over there. No play going to be had for Bollock. And Richards came racing over as well. Looks like he dropped the sunglasses off of his Outlaw cap. A few of these guys had sunglasses on, but not too much sun to be had tonight. It's been a pretty cloudy day. Had a little bit of rain sprinkles this morning. Luckily cleared up pretty early, so we're able to get this game in. Got a little nervous beforehand, but glad we got it done. On the ground, picked up, scooped to second. Robinson back, and Baylett dives and isn't going to get back to the bag to get an out. So it was a good slide getting the 1 as they get the middle runner. So 6-4. Enrique Diaz is going to be retired. And Joe Haynes going to be over there courtesy of the fielder's choice. So advanced Gallagher to third. First and third with 2 outs, and now Cameron Biller is Dugan needing just 1 more out to close this thing off and finally get the Outlaws back to the win column. Biller's 0 for 3, strikeout swinging, an 5-3 ground out and a fly out to right, and he takes strike 1. Dugan continuing to pump it right in there, and man, he has been just about as good as it can get for this Outlaw pitching staff starting off the summer. 0-1, and that one down and away, count to 1-1. Short lead off third, Aiden Gallagher. Both base runners wanting to run, 1-1. It's in high, and Porter careful not to go for the throw. Didn't want to get the base runner in the way, somehow have one rolling to left because that could be chaos. Two-1 from Dugan. Missing. Came downstairs and away, 3-1. Cameron Biller representing last chance, last hope. Glens Falls 3-1. Low ball 4. So Dugan loses Biller, and now there'll be 3 dots on the pond for Jetson Mueller. So Gallagher stays at third, Vance Hayes to second, Biller's at first, and Jetson Mueller will now come up. Actually going to get a change as Nick Galillo going to come over, take over for the Dragons. Galillo, 240 average, 9 games, 6 hits, 25 tries, does represent one of the 4 Glens Falls home runs. Also has 3 ribbies, and his problem has been trying to cut down the strikeout rate. So see what he's got in the tank in a big spot. Obviously, as the coach of trust of Coach Dio to be put in a spot like this, with bases loaded, 2 outs, and knowing that you got to do a job here. He fouls the first one straight back into the screen. So Dugan going to keep trying. Again, Glens Falls will go to Saugerties tomorrow. Outlaws getting off day, and then these two squads will meet at Eastfield Thursday night, 7 o'clock. That one tight to the knees, and the Outlaw dugout wanted the call. Nice to finally see some life back in the dugout. 1-1. And that one on the ground, right back to Dugan. He turns, fires it to Bullock, and the Outlaws are back in the win column. Finally, the Outlaws get one done here in front of the home crowd and just overall again, and love to see it. It's very much needed victory, and man, it certainly feels good for this group to get one done. Pitching holds Glens Falls to just 1 hit tonight, and I think that's a stat that you really have to smile about. Pitchers continuing to do a job, and if this offense could start to figure it out, even if it's putting up 1-2 runs a game to win some, then can't scoff about it. You just got to take the victories how you can get up. Flash that graphic up for you. Outlaws take the victory 2-0. Only register 3 hits, but it's enough to get the job done. Glens Falls going to drop to 3-9. Outlaws go to 2-7. Dragons go to Saugerties tomorrow night, 7:05. Outlaws going to go to Eastfield and Glens Falls Thursday night at 7. Glens Falls still looking for their first home victory of the year. Outlaws going to try to keep that streak alive. So that will do it for us here tonight. Outlaws back to the win column. They take the victory 2-0. Enjoy the off day tomorrow. We will see you on Thursday. And as always, roll Laws.